What's up there, my reading friend? I hope you are well. I'm back with a book review for you on Dan Brown's Origin. This book is a techno thriller and it involves Robert Langdon. It's the fifth book in the Robert Langdon series. And this one starts out with an atheistic scientist named Edmund Kirsch, who is a kind of mix between Richard Dawkins and Elon Musk, and he says that he's made a discovery that's going to completely change how we see humans, and it's also going to completely destroy the world's religions, and he plans on informing the world at an upcoming lecture. The novel takes place primarily in Spain, and it has a treasure hunt, conspiracy theory kind of feel to it. This is no spoiler, my friends. As this novel opens up, the atheistic scientist is murdered, and Robert Langdon finds himself on the race, on the hunt, and people are trying to kill him, and he doesn't know who they are, and it's a similar kind of feel to the other Robert Langdon novels. If you've ever read one, I'm sure you know just what I'm saying here. But this one's a bit different. There's enough uniqueness in this book that I really enjoyed it. Dan Brown is a very deep thinker, and he uses his novels as mediums to philosophize about, in this case, religion and science and the human condition and what he believes about history and the future. And he's a very controversial writer because of the themes that he takes on, but I think that this novel really comes out well. Dan Brown has a suspenseful way of writing, or at least it's that way for me. I'm sure a lot of my audience out there don't really like his books, but I think that this one really works well because he changes it enough that it's interesting, and I didn't feel like I was reading the same old Davinci Code again. Although the feel was there with this one, I liked it because it was just unique enough. Science is at the heart of this novel. Dan Brown is very well informed when it comes to computer science and artificial intelligence and technology. Our reliance on technology is a huge theme in this book, and Brown posits just what the future might look like for humans when it comes to machines and devices and computers. This book was, for me, similar to the Davinci Code. It was a very fast-paced novel that I was caught up in. I wanted to know what was going to happen. It was really interesting. I was so curious throughout it, just wanting to go another chapter to see if I could get more, another chapter to get a little closer to what this was all about. And Dan Brown really utilizes the cliffhanger method in this book. I just can't say enough about how fast-paced this read was for me personally. Maybe I'm just a sucker for the thieves and codes and conspiracy theory kind of book. I really felt that Dan Brown masters the art of coming at different angles in this book so that more than one thing are happening, and there are a lot of characters involved here, and there's a lot of deception, and there's a lot of motive for the different characters. You're in the dark in this novel about some of the things that are happening, and you're in the light about others. And it was a real joy for me to see things coming together as I went on in this book. And I felt that the plot was pulling me along rather than me having to push along like I might do with a book that I wasn't as much into. I will say with this book, my friends, and I'm not going to put any spoilers in this review, that I was just a bit disappointed with the ending. I was hoping that there would be a bit more of a climax, but even with that being said, I really did enjoy the book. The ending was okay, I can accept it, and I'm still definitely going to recommend this one because all in all, I rate it very well, even though I felt that maybe the ending could have been a little bit more I can't come up with the right word, but I liked this book because I'm really into philosophy and science, and I love to learn about other people's world views. And I think that there's something in this book, even if you have a different worldview than Dan Brown has. His books will make you think. And he's really good with language. A lot of the sentences and paragraphs were striking in their philosophical nature. And Dan Brown, the reason I keep reading these Robert Langdon kind of formula books is primarily because of the fact that Dan Brown puts a lot of thought into what he writes. He uses his novels as philosophical mediums to philosophize about humans and our world and our past and potential future and what it all means. And I really love that kind of book. Dan Brown does really well when it comes to mixing crime and mystery and techno thriller. And he throws in the whole treasure hunt and fast-paced narrative with complex intellectual characters. It just really works well. And I'm definitely going to be reading Dan Brown's Inferno here in the near future. I will give you something on the criticism if you think that Dan Brown is a formula writer, because it is true that these Robert Langdon novels are very similar in plot, but they just work so well. They're bestsellers for a reason. And I think that with this one, this being the second Robert Langdon novel I've completed, I think that there's enough different from Davinci that it is a different book. Similar style, but I liked it a lot. This book addresses two big questions. Where do we come from? Why are we? And where are we going with our future? What is our civilization going to be like 50 years from now, 100 years from now? What will our technologies look like? How will we have changed? That's one of the reasons that this book is so much fun, because Dan Brown uses a kind of intelligent way to explore the landscape of the future and posit what it all might be like. And I think that this book is a very realistic kind of book. It's plausible, it's believable, and I like the characters as well. Of course, I really like Robert Langdon. I'm quite hooked on Langdon and his witty personality, but Dan Brown, for me, does well with characters. I thought that the dialogue was believable and easy to read, and this book just ripped me through the pages. I was just really anxious to see what it was all about, and I really liked this one. I didn't like it as much as Davinci, but I'm still going to give this one a 4-star review. I thought it was quite a fantastic book, and I highly recommend it. Dan Brown hit it big time with the Davinci Code. It sold like 80 million copies in like 6 years, I think. And an interesting fact about Brown is that he has a very mysterious home. It's like his novels. His office is actually hidden behind a painting. Brown was inspired to try writing a novel after reading Sidney Sheldon's The Doomsday Conspiracy, and he really mastered the genre. Brown even tried his luck with music before becoming a writer. He had an album named Angels and Demons, which he used later on for the best-selling novel. Well, there you have it. I'm really looking forward to reading some more of these Robert Langdon novels. I'm going to read Inferno soon, and I want you to drop me a line in the comments, if you don't mind, on any kind of techno thriller or fast-paced novel that you've read. I will definitely take note. Any book in general, just let me know what to read and I will check it out. I want to let you know that you can join me on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads. I'll drop the links for those in the comments. I'll drop the link for the book on Amazon as well. I want to thank you very much for stopping by and showing me support, and I will see you next time, my friend.